In this video, we're going to talk about what's new with Puget system computers and AI. John, good to see you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you too.
So what do we have going on at NAB with Puget?
Yeah, well, so we're a workstation, server, storage, laptop provider for traders.
Yeah.
So anytime there's a difficult workflow, some compute problem to be solved, our testing comes into play and we design products for those various workloads. So we're showing some of that here. But then also in the theater area, I'm giving a talk today about the state of the industry, which is a half-hour talk. I don't know how that's going to fit into a half hour, but talking about how workstation trends are changing, where's the compute happening, how is AI affecting pricing and availability, which is of course really a pain point for a lot of people. So we'll be talking about that today. And then we'll have Corridor Digital here, talking about Corridor Key, a new tool for like green screen type work. Really exciting to see that movement. And then they're going to be doing the VFX Artist React series like live right there on the couch with the virtual wall behind them of their studios. Yeah. So we really love working with them because they are like genuine, enthusiastic people looking to how to like push things forward in visual effects. And part of that VFX Artist series React is looking at like ways that Hollywood has pushed the envelope and done cool things, and then like distilling it down, making it accessible for how can other people do this as well.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I know you're giving your talk soon, but what are some of the key highlights
like
of the state of the industry?
Yeah, well, I'll be talking about how, like this box here beside you.
Okay.
I mean, it used to be all computers were like towers on your desk.
Yeah.
And that's just not true anymore. So this is actually one of our highest growing segments. It's just a workstation, just like before, but it's in the data center. And whether you're hybrid, working from home, working from the coffee shop, working at the office, remoting into it. And so it's kind of like a gateway into more like full virtual workstations or cloud workstations. We're seeing a lot of interest in that. So I'll be talking about kind of the shift of where compute's happening. So that's one point.
This kind of the idea of this be something you like set up in the office?
Yeah, like on-prem, like still might be in the server room, but it's on location.
And then you just access your workstation.
Yeah.
Through a terminal or
and it's still
remote.
Like you're not performance compromised. You're not sharing hardware with anyone else. It's still your hardware full performance. It's just not at your desk.
You just don't
anymore.
Need to be plugged in. To a desk.
And then there's things you can do. Once it's in the server room, crank the fans, let it be loud. Take it to even higher performance, which is a big deal now that we have 600-watt video cards and it's just everything's getting really intense.
Yeah. And what else are you seeing with your trends with AI?
Well, we'll be talking about memory shortages. We'll be talking about how AI plays. Well, we'll be talking about how AI plays into that and how the fear of AI plays into that. Anytime there's a shortage situation, people start doing weird behaviors, hoarding inventory or timing their purchases differently. So just everything gets more intense when you put the human factor into it. So we'll be talking about those shortages. And the pricing impacts. And then I'll, do my best shot at like predicting the future. Like, when is this going to be over? When is normal going to come back? Or like, what at least things to look for in the market to give signs that like we're returning to a more normal supply situation.
Yeah, makes sense. You have worked and collaborated with Corridor Crew a bunch.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Corridor Key, but also kind of the broader sense. They, have said they're not programmers, but they were able to build a solution to a problem that they've had for a number of years.
Yeah.
Kind of where do you see that going even further of just in a sense of both like hardware, but even like kind of the rise of vibe coding. People that weren't necessarily super technical or programmers are able to do things that they weren't able to do before.
The way I like to think of it is it's not like replacing people. It's making it more accessible. And that's not just for, Corridor's a good example of that. They have a passion, they have something they want to do. And Nico's, specifically is very technical. So he's very capable already. And then you give him AI tools and he can just take it even further. And I think that's true of a lot of places. We've talked with some like Hollywood studios where in order to make a feature film, you have to become this like a business. And you have to have thousands of people on payroll, and you have to have an HR department and finance and all of this stuff. And AI helps make everyone more effective so that you can have a small, passionate team and still have an end result that's similar to like those larger teams. So that's something that has me excited. Because you can just do what you want to do, the thing that you're passionate about, and not have to grow a huge organization to get there.
You also make very beefy and capable machines.
Yes.
What kind of trends have you been seeing with running local models,
Sure.
and like where does that make sense for creators or companies to do that versus the bigger API paying per token
Well, I mean,
subscriptions?
there's like moving pieces. Like the models and what hardware the models need are constantly changing, and then the hardware is constantly changing and getting more capable. And as both of those things happen, like it converges into you have more and more capability at your own desk or your own hardware. So my belief and our belief at Puget is that the cloud is a fantastic place to get started, and it's a fantastic place to do the big stuff that you need really big hardware to do. But it also has performance costs, it has dollar costs, it has speed costs of like latency. And so there's always going to be a piece where you want to have your compute wherever your data is. And so we're not trying to even compete with the cloud. We're trying to understand that like we're in a whole like continuum of compute that has to exist in between like your phone and the cloud. And so my vision is boxes like this are going to be great for small, medium-sized businesses that can do a lot of those workflows on site, and then they still go to the cloud for the big stuff.
Have you found like the cloud is like a playground or testing area?
Yeah.
Kind of figure out what you need.
Well, it's really easy to get started.
Figure out, right, there's nothing, no cost. Then kind of figure out, we need this system, we need this power of compute, these prompts.
Yeah.
And then that's just move it off the cloud into equivalent local model.
Yeah, because it's too, like once you're buying hardware, you're committing to a configuration. And so you really need to know what your needs are and what your workflow is before then. And the cloud is great for that. And the cloud will tell you when it's time to move, because you'll find your configuration, you'll find what you want to do, and you'll scale it up, and then you'll get the bill.
when your monthly bill cost is being the cost of buying this. Then.
And a lot of times, like these kind of boxes, when you're at that stage,
Yeah.
it ends up being like a 9 months payback period. So it's a really easy math problem once you know what you need.
Yeah.
But obviously this route, like you're not just going to shell out like $80,000 for a beefy server if you don't really know what you need it for and what that ROI looks like first.
Yeah. Cool. Well, awesome. Thanks so much, John. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Good to meet you.